calling all forces of the spectrum. I said calling all forces of the spectrum. We must band together and use our powers to fight the evils of the corporate world. Levels 1, 2, and 3. Do you hear me? It's morphin' time! Ah! Alright, chill. I'm just playing, y'all. I'm just having a little fun. We talking about autism today. Ooh, I know y'all about sick of this one. It's Charmaine Santia, Lottoriddles Institute of Health Research. And no worries. There is a cure. We're going to get your loved one up and running and alert, focused, and all of that. We're going to get them up in no time. So I'm just playing, relax, chill, having a little fun. That's all. Well, y'all really gonna think the corporate world is evil after this one, because we got to undo all of these lies they have told. So many. You got the right to be mad. And so let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to go general. Maybe there's other types that can be cured in different ways. The way I have is general, and it should cure most. All right, and what I'm picking up with this is I'm picking up parasites. It's looking like worms. If you have an autistic loved one, they have a bunch of worms running through their body. These worms are going through their lungs, their livers, their brain, and even their eyes. They have a bunch of worms in and out of, the different tissues, the different organs, and it's causing a lot of problems and pain. All right, and so what the body is constantly trying to do is trying to heal itself and adapt to all these tissue tearing, penetrating worms. This is a parasitic disease. They like to say, oh, this is mostly genetically inherited. If it's genetically inherited, it's genetically inherited worms. We gotta stop listening to their lies and filling up their pockets, all right? Now, here's the trick. As with a lot of illnesses I've cured, things hide from tests. This is yet another illness that hides from the test. When they're testing autistic people, they usually get a stool sample. That is, they take their poop and then they test it for parasites, right? So what happens when they don't get any parasite, they don't see any parasites in the stool sample? They're going to say, well, it's not parasites because we just tested for that. Well, there's a specific worm. It is called the raccoon roundworm. It doesn't excrete from the human, so you're not going to see it in the poop. In that way, this can remain undetected. You can have a bunch of worms that don't, go out of the system, and so they can say, well, we don't see anything. And then the problem continues to go on and on and on. And they know this. I'm not saying the doctors, but the people making money off this, they know this. So we have to cure some parasites that aren't shown in the tests. The tests are one of the biggest scams in the medical industry. I think they just sit around and wonder, how can we get this to go undetected in the test? That's usually your problem. So if you're trying to find a breakthrough with a disease, if you're trying to find a cure, a lot of times it's got to do with the tests. So how do you test for this? If it's not obvious already that they have autism, and again, that's not a smart remark, but usually if you label them autistic, what you can do is you can test their eyeballs. You can put it under a microscope, the eyeballs, the vitreous humor, I think that's how you pronounce it. There's usually a bunch of worms you can see with like a magnifying glass if you look closely up to it, because those worms are in the eyes as well. All right. Or the vitreous humor. You can just search that. But that'll be another sign that old junk, they got a parasitic infection. All right. So how does one contract these parasites? This usually comes from ingesting feces, poop from animals. So, you have to watch certain pets. You have to watch, look, I know they say go outside and touch grass. You have to watch the grass, the soil. That's probably the most common way. The ground, the grass, the soil, the beach. The beach is full of feces. Both animals and humans is full of feces. If I can get it out. You gotta watch a bunch of animal poop, especially the raccoons. You don't want the raccoon roundworm. Those parasites somehow, if children especially, they eat off the ground. A lot of people eat off the ground. They eat off things that's contaminated. A lot of animals are pooping and you're getting full of parasites. Maybe there's a way you're ingesting it you don't even know. I know for certain, feces, stay away from feces, all kinds, but definitely animals. All right, let's go on and cure this thing, because that's what we're here for. Before I go on any further, and my favorite medicine in the world, penicillin G. You can go a high dosage, 24 million units. This kills so many things. You're going to hear me say this a lot. I know you've probably already heard me say it. You can split it up between 8 hours, 8 million, not 8 hours. Wait, it's 8 hours, 8 million units every 8 hours. That should give you 3 dosages a day for 24 million. You hear me say that a lot. That's a common one. You can adjust it to the way you see fit, but I go high dosage. Now, I don't want to just depend on penicillin G. Say you don't use that one. I know another way you can get rid of it. All right. With the penicillin G, I like to go 2 weeks, but you can adjust that if you want to go longer or until healed. You can experiment with that. Now, the other medicine that you're going to hear about is benznidazole. You can take a high dose. You got to go high dosage with that. I want to say, it depends on your weight. 200 milligrams twice a day for like 60 days. You can adjust as needed. Either way, it's going to get rid of those worms and your loved ones will heal. So penicillin G or benznidazole. Y'all, I'm trying to get better with these names, all right? I've been wondering, do they overcomplicate these names on purpose? a lot of the health names I've seen, I can kind of see where they're using the different parts and root words from its origin, but sometimes I'll be like, man, that is unnecessarily long. But yeah, those are the two. It will flush those worms out. All right. It's a worm problem. Make no mistake. Okay, so while you're getting rid of the worms, what else you got to do? The other step is you got to get laser photo coagulation done. That's basically lasering the eyes, laser photo coagulation. And what that's going to do, the laser is going to patch up those leaking blood vessels in the eyes that the worms damaged, and it's going to destroy a lot of that bad tissue that's in there. It's going to fix a lot of problems, among other things. It's going to fix a lot of problems with the eyes that the parasites was just up there wreaking havoc with. I'm sure that's the cause of why, they say, oh, this person has autistic eyes. That's probably the reason. Autistic eyes are full of worms, and they're wreaking havoc in the eyeball. So that should fix the eyes. So you have the penicillin G or the benznidazole. I'm not saying take both of them. Take either or. You have those to flush out the worms, get rid of them. And you got the laser photo coagulation to fix the autistic eyes. That's it. That's it right there. That gets rid of autism. Again, they make you focus on something. They try to point you to a cause when the cause is completely something else, which is worms. It's a worm problem. I don't want to tell you to stay off the beach. I know people, you want your kids to go outside. It's a lot of feces, and somehow they're ingesting it. So you gotta be wary of that. Listen, autism kills. Autism is a killer. So you want to get your loved ones help as fast as possible. And in my theory, that is the cure. That should get rid of it. That should get rid of the worms they're trying to hide from you. Those days are over. Now, this is all theoretical, but they have different types of autism. They got the whole spectrum, right, and the levels. I mean, would I be wrong to assume that with these parasites digging in and out, especially of the brain, maybe they're just digging and eating in parts of the brain, and that's the part that's affected by it. So whatever autism you may have can be dependent on where the worms are digging the most in your brain. I don't know. My brain tends to wander off and think stuff like that. Maybe not. I don't know. All right, let's do a recap. Stay off the dirt, sand, and ground. Stay away from it. Put in extra effort of keeping away from animal feces. You really got to watch your children because they're eating stuff you're not looking, and they're ingesting a lot of poop. So watch out for animal feces and what you ingest. You really got to watch out for that. That can cause autism. All right. The tests usually come back negative. The stool samples, they may not have any parasites in them. If they're doing lung biopsies, the biopsies usually come back negative. Don't let that be where you stop. One of the greatest ways to test is the vitreous humor, if I'm pronouncing that right. Basically, the water in the eyes or the eyeballs, they're usually full of worms. Sometimes when you just be staring off in the distance and you see those little things in your eyes, I don't know how I can explain it. Those little curly things, I think they call them eye floaters. A lot of times, those eye floaters could be worms, just being real. I know they got explanations for what the eye floaters are, but they lie so much, they just might be worms. All right, so watch out for that. So with the antibiotics or the parasitic antiparasitic medication, we're going penicillin G, 24 million units a day, every 8 hours, 8 million units that can be adjusted. That should wipe the parasites, 2 weeks, give or take. Sometimes I think when they say, hey, antibiotics, you can't take them for too long because they kill the good bacteria. I think they be discouraging you away from the cure. I mean, I don't believe anything they say now. I'm just saying. So I wouldn't be too afraid to go high dosage like that. If not that, use the benznidazole, 200 milligrams, about 60 days, give or take. It goes by your weight, I think. Just go high dosage with it. Get rid of those worms. That's what you want to do. You want to kill the worms. Then get the laser in your eyes, laser photo coagulation. Patch up everything wrong with the eye, all the blood vessels. Get that taken care of, all right? They should heal up just fine. LIHR, magnifying glass for the eyes. Remember that. I don't want people to forget that. They'll check it right. Before I go, I was talking about misdiagnoses, and when I was looking at autism and searching and decoding, it's looking like a misdiagnosis of Baylisascaris. Wait, I think that's Baylisascaris. I think that's it. So when I look up what I just explained, it looks like that. The worm infection. So they may have just looked at that and said, hey, let's call it something else, and say we don't know how to cure it. That's gotta be what happened. So if you want a better understanding of what I explained, look up Baylisascaris. That's what I think the real form of autism is. And then you'll know how to get rid of it. So I'm going to leave it there. LIHR, Lottoriddles Institute of Health Research. Please come back and see me. There's more to be exposed.